All right, Wrong Turn 3, Left 4 Dead, the unrated cut. Did you know that when you go direct to DVD, you don't have to get a rating? So they're acting like this had a rating at one point, and now they're releasing the uncut version that you need to see because the last one was all cut and weak. What a marketing gimmick. All of the sequels are unrated because all of them went straight to DVD. But anyway, let's get into this movie. Now, this movie, unlike the last one, reverts back to the more serious tone. And I think that's where this film got hurt. Because this film should have been a little bit more self-aware of what it was. And so, in addition to that, the dialogue, the acting, stuff like that is poor. And the gore, while it is really good at times, it has horrible CGI enhancements. And I don't think there's a horror fan out there. I'm not alone when I say shit like that. When I say shit like this. I don't think there's anyone who's a fan of horror, or pretty much anyone, that likes CGI in their horror films. It always looks bad. And one of the main reasons is because these movies don't have a budget. It's not like ILM is doing the special effects for this film, you know? So if you had a crazy budget and you know, you could have an amazing artistic team who excels in computer graphics and CGI and whatever, then yeah, maybe, but because you can't, it has no place. And this is one of those movies where all of the CGI enhancements, man, that's a stretch saying enhancements, more like de-enhancements, dechancements. Okay, I'll stop. They weren't necessary. That's where I'm kind of lost on this, because I feel like the gore and the practical effects in this were strong enough that the CGI enhancements only hurt it. Like if they would have just left those out and cut away from, like, because they wanted to show stuff go through. There's a scene where they cut a guy in thirds, because in the last movie they cut a girl in half straight down. This time they want to cut him like thirds, and it falls down and the body splits, like one here and two here, and it's in three pieces on the ground. And when it's on the ground, it looks incredible. It's fantastic practical gore effects. But because we got to see it slice with the CGI, it makes it look so bad, but by the time it goes to the ground, your brain's already shut off. Like, oh my God, I'm watching a cheap shit film. Why am I sitting here watching this garbage? I should be doing something with my life. And so you're not really paying attention past that point, and you're not seeing the actually great gore that you've been given because you're too busy focused on the shit. And that sucks, because there was some great practical effects work done here, and those people should be credited for what they did. But they can't be, because it's been tarnished by garbage CGI. And that's a total shame. Now, much like the last one, I was talking about how I liked that there was a military man fighting these redneck hillbillies, whatever, because he could defend himself, and it wasn't just a couple teenagers and girls who are whatever. This time we have a bus full of prison inmates, like hardcore prison inmates, people who've been in there for, you know, murder and shit like that, rape, and, you know, not like people who've been selling dime bags of fucking pot. So to watch these people going up. Now, what's weird about this one is that they up the level of, you know, ability on the protagonist side. Like, these guys are all able-bodied, strong motherfuckers. But then they decrease the amount of antagonists within this film. All you have in this film is Three Finger and his son, which I'm guessing that is supposed to be the baby at the end of part 2, grown up to like, I don't know, 10 or something, and then he dies. So it's just 3, and he doesn't really do anything anyway. So it's just all of these guys versus this one hillbilly in this, which I just kind of thought was lame. I was like, oh man, there should be a few more like there has been in the past. It would make it a little bit more of a fair fight here. But of course he turns into fucking Superman in this movie, literally at times. There's a part at the end where a tow truck is driving past him and he takes this meat hook as they're driving past and he grabs the back of it, he like splits out of the way and he grabs it and he pulls himself as the car is passing him at like 45 miles per hour. Doesn't dislocate his arm and rip it from his socket. No. He just grabs it and spins right onto the car like a fucking superhero. It's ridiculous. To put it in a serious film like this is absurd. To put it in a more goofy, tongue-in-cheek type of film, it would have been fine. But in this one that's trying to take itself seriously, it's like, am I really supposed to believe that he just pulled that maneuver off? Like, that is fucking stupid. But that's fine. I mean, these kinds of movies, I always take that shit and just be like, whatever, it happened. So, but I just thought it was odd that they decided this was the movie. And now this movie looked way better than the last one. I was saying in the last one that one looked like shit. This one actually looked like it was, maybe not a feature film, but maybe like one step below. It looked good, and they went in a more serious route, as I said, and it just hurt the film. Now, I love how they go down, and not only does their police transport bus crash, which would have a tracker on it, but also they find an armored truck out in the middle of the woods. How the hell it got there, I don't know how it possibly could have rolled all the way out there. They were pretty deep in the woods at that point, but whatever. That didn't have any, then nobody went looking for that thing. Like, how the hell did it get so far out there? It was flipped over. So, and it had no tracker on it. It had, the bags didn't. They, like, as I said, these are the kinds of things you just have to look past. But it was sitting there like, come on. This cop who gets shot by the criminals when he's like refusing to do anything. He just keeps like, tries to pull a gun on him, and then he like spits in his face and he's like, fuck you, I'm not going anywhere. It's like, even though the guy killed an unarmed, innocent man, especially like a cop, do I condone his actions? No, but this cop was asking for it. Holy shit. What do you think this hardened criminal who has you between his freedom is going to do? If it's incredible you're still alive. Like, at this point, do whatever the fuck the guy says. Who gives a shit at this point? Oh, your pride? Really? Pride? Like, when anyone dies for their pride, they're fucking stupid and they deserved it. I'm sorry. Pride should be thrown out the door when your life is on the line. I like the idea that they are chained together. It limits their mobility so that they, and that goes to, the fact that there's only one of these inbred hillbillies out there in this movie. This is how he'd be able to do it. Otherwise, they'd be able to. Now, of course, in most movies, they all just stay grouped together anyway because they're stupid. But in this movie, they actually have a reason why they stay grouped together and just kind of have to sit there and take it. I do like that when one of the bodies dies, instead of trying to drag him around, they actually just cut off his limbs and carry him around. Why they wouldn't cut him off at the ankle so that they could just take the chains off instead of having to carry legs around with them. Whatever. I bring too much logic into stuff like this, I know. But I did like that it kind of reminded me of that 100 Feet movie with Famke Janssen, where she's like on house arrest and she can't get over 100 feet outside the door, otherwise she'll get arrested and the house has been haunted. What an incredible, concept for a movie. Whether the quality of that movie is good or not doesn't matter. concept is fantastic. And just having that idea of like you're chained to somebody, like you can't leave their vicinity. Like you only have so far you can go, and if they don't move, you can't move. And there's somebody out there hunting you. It's a scary, scary thought. The way Three Finger dies in this, doesn't die, of course, but he gets a meat hook stuck through his fucking chin, up through his brain and out. I'm sorry, there's no surviving that. When I saw that, I was like, oh, he's dead. Like, I knew, obviously, he's in more sequels. The next one's a prequel, but I knew 5 and 6 took place after this, and I was just like, God, this is ridiculous. There's no way. But if Jason can come back for fucking 12 movies, I guess anyone can. Well, okay. He wasn't in all of them. Don't go blowing me up, all right? He was only in 10 of them. Ow! But we also, I was making reference in 2 reviews ago during the first Wrong Turn movie that they have an explosion that knocks them back, and I was raving about how cool that was, because in a lot of these movies they just have something blow up behind them as they walk in slow motion at the camera. Super cool. Yeah, they did that here. They did that in this one. So they took away what they had achieved in part 1 and threw the fucking cliche into this. Of course. And then, of course, the cops just show up like the second it's over. There's actually a really funny joke about that in National Lampoon's Loaded Weapon 1 with fucking Emilio Estevez and Samuel Jackson, one of the greatest spoofs of all time. If you haven't seen that movie, absolutely check it out. It's funny as fuck. John Lovitz plays like the Joe Pesci character in it. Oh my God, it's fucking hilarious. Anyway, moving on. I do love this double twist ending. Now, do I like that they did like he's back and the antagonist lives and there's a sequel? No, whatever. I expect it at this point. Who gives a shit? But the fact that, the cop lets the criminal go and they have this like bonding moment where he now trusts him and they trust each other and they have a good rapport now, and he's like, they have like the Fast and the Furious / Point Break ending, because it's the same movie, where they let him go out into the waves, or they let him drive his car off, or no, I guess his car is wrecked, so he takes off, whatever. But they have that moment here, and it is a cliche moment in film. But not only do you then have the cop, like after the credits, like the credits were about to roll and it like faded to black, and I was like, oh, this movie's over. Okay, they're not going to do a next, they actually meant to kill him this time, and I guess they're just going to take it back in part 5. But no, then it kind of came back up, and I was like, all right, here we go. They're going to do the, he's still alive thing. And they didn't. They do at the very, very end, but what they do is they bring it back, and there's the cop, and he goes back for the money that he had hid. And he's like, I'm gonna go like sit on a beach and soak up the pussy or whatever. Can't remember the line. It was fucking hilarious. So I was just like, oh my God, this guy's a piece of shit. I love it. And then he gets double crossed by the convict coming back, who's like, you should have never fucking trusted me, idiot. And that's just such a great, and then he gets killed by the hillbilly. But, that's expected. But like the fact that the cop went back for the money, and then the convict who he trusted and they had that moment came back and killed him for the money is awesome. I'm sorry, that is an awesome ending. I wish they would have honestly taken the 3, they don't even show who it is, but I guess it could be any hillbilly. Maybe another one of the tribe, but I wish they would have kind of maybe left that out, but outside of that, what a fucking cool twist ending. You don't see that shit almost ever. So I wish they would use it in like a bigger budget movie, or not even a bigger budget movie, but like a better movie than this. But regardless, I'm glad I got to see it, because that's pretty damn cool. Anyway, all right. I am done with this one. Halfway there. All right, 3 more to go.